It's Friday, September 27th, 2024. Thanks for joining me today. I really want to thank all of you. As I've said in the past, you have a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of channels. I really appreciate that you take your 15 to 20 minutes of valuable time and you spend it with me and watch this channel. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. But I want to get right into things right now. Coming from CNBC, key Fed inflation gauge at 2.2% in August, lower than expected. That was PCE. Now, if we look at core PCE, excluding food and energy, it was up 0.1% for the month and was up 2.7% from a year ago. Now, I want to ask all of you this. Please comment down below. Do you believe any of this data? Do you believe any of these numbers? Do you believe any of this news? I don't. I think it's a bunch of baloney. But these are the numbers today, so I guess everything's wonderful. Inflation's going 2%. Have you noticed it at the grocery store? Many of you probably went to the store today. Maybe you went to the gas station. Maybe you paid your rent, your mortgage. Maybe you paid for a service. Maybe you're going to the grocery store this weekend. Let me know. Are you seeing any relief out there? Are you seeing more money in your wallet, more money in your bank account? Is your life getting any better? Or is this just a bunch of BS? Are these numbers just BS? Here's one from CNN. A dual win for consumers. Inflation cooled last month, paving way for borrowing costs to come down more. So they want broke Americans to borrow more money to buy overpriced cars and overpriced real estate. And this is a news flash. Americans are broke. And this is not going to work. They can tell us that inflation is 1.5% today, and they're going to lie to us and tell us that it's back to 2%, maybe even below 2%. Yet we're going to be paying more than ever at the grocery store, more than ever for services. We're paying a lot more for gas today than we were a few years ago. That's for sure. But who really believes any of this? But this is what they want you to do. Oh, interest rates are coming down. Mortgage rates are down a little bit. Instead of paying 27% on your credit card, you only have to pay 22, 23%. So go out there and spend. Run up more debt. You're already broke. Just keep running up more debt. This is just unbelievable how they're spinning all this. And at some point, they're gonna hit a dead end here because Americans are tapped out. They're maxed out, and most people who are honest with themselves know this. Now, there are people out there that believe everything is okay. The same people waiting in the food lines for government cheese will tell you and I everything is okay. We know that they're not. And again, please comment down below. Is your life getting better with inflation heading down? I haven't really seen many things go down in price at all. I really haven't. Here's another one today. This from CNBC. Port strike would leave Walmart, IKEA, Home Depot with few import options, union warns. Markets at all-time highs today, ladies and gentlemen, totally ignoring this potential catastrophic port strike that is just days away, just a few days away. I would say this: get ready for shortages, get ready for price increases, get ready for more inflation. And ask yourself this: why are we not making this stuff right here in America? Why are we importing this stuff from all over the world, especially Asia, especially China? We're having to import this, and this is what happens. If another country gets into trouble, or if a country goes on strike over there, the ports go on strike here, this stuff does not get delivered. It has to go to another port. It's going to have to come here on the West Coast. If we have room, it's going to have to sit. Perishable goods are going to be in trouble. Medicines will be in trouble. Markets up at all-time highs, totally ignoring this danger that is potentially just days away. Port strike could delay delivery of critical medications. It could be devastating, doctors say, this on Fox Business. I hope most of you realize that 90% of the pharmaceuticals in this country are imported from other countries, especially Asia, especially China. Why is this stuff not made, not produced right here in America? We are so reliant on other countries. Just think if we get into tensions with China, with everything that's happening, things that are going to potentially happen in Taiwan, and we want to, we're going to hit them with sanctions, right? Well, what if they say, hey, we're just not going to ship pharmaceuticals to you. We're not going to ship all these cheap products. So your shelves at Walmart and IKEA and Home Depot are going to be empty. I mean, think about how dependent and reliant we are in these countries and what they can do to us. They literally control us at this point. 91% of pharmaceuticals coming from those countries have to come through the East Coast. And now they're going to have to come west. And that means some of this stuff probably will perish. It's going to get more expensive. There will be shortages. If you can stock up on some of these things, I highly advise that you do. Car dealerships expected to feel effects of port strike. Have repairs done now, expert says. This on Fox Business. Markets at all-time highs. Markets ignoring this risk that is just days away. You shouldn't. Prices will go up on car repairs, on car parts. Inventory will be affected. So if you need a part, may not be there for 5, 6, 7 weeks. It's going to get more expensive because now they're going to have to ship it from the East Coast, going to have to, take it to the West Coast. And it's going to take a lot more fuel on those big ships, and it's going to take a lot longer. So if you need something done, get it now. If you can stock up on medicine, do it now. 3 days from now, port strike to close all East Coast and Gulf ports. This on the Hal Turner radio show. Again, this is becoming very, very real. I pray to God that this is avoided. But they're saying right now it is a 95% chance that this strike is going to go through. And remember, for every day that that port shuts down, it's going to take 6 days to catch up. So a week would be 42 days to get caught up getting this merchandise on the shelves. 50% of all imported goods come through these ports. It says here on the HalTurnerRadioShow.com, it will only take a few days after the strike to see the impact on store shelves. This is pretty serious. We'll see what happens. Yet markets all-time highs. Nobody really talking about it today. So I guess if we just don't talk about it, ignore it, it just won't happen. So we'll see how it plays out. U.S. economy grew 3% in the second quarter, in line with expectations. How is this even possible? We don't make anything here. We don't manufacture anything here. We're running about a $2 trillion deficit, but GDP is growing at 3%. I would say it has a lot to do with all these government jobs that are being created that we're all paying for. I think it has a lot to do with the wars and the amount of money we're giving Ukraine, the amount of supplies that we're giving them. This is why GDP is going up. Because of the money that we are spending on government jobs and war. That's why you're seeing GDP going up. And now that GDP is going up and wages are going up and markets at all-time highs, why in the world are we hearing about 50 basis point and 75 basis rate cuts? Why would you be cutting rates when everything is just going up and GDP is supposedly growing? World's largest ski resort operator announces layoffs ahead of winter season. I guess everything is doing really, really well. Vail Resorts is trimming its workforce as part of a 2-year transformation plan. This on Fox Business. This covers 42 resorts. They have 7,600 year-round employees and 44,000 seasonal employees. They're going to cut 14% of their corporate positions and a few other ones. John Deere recalls 147,900 tractors over risk of brake loss. Here we go again. Can we make anything without it breaking in this country? Maybe we have to import things because we just can't make anything here. Between the cars, the SUVs, the tractors, food that's being recalled, it's just one thing after another. I mean, this is just unbelievable. A recall of another 16,800 compact utility and tractor models is also underway in Canada. What the heck is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Why is everything falling apart? Where is the quality, the incredible quality that we used to have here in America? Remember, when I was a kid, if you didn't have a bike made in America, you were literally ridiculed. If you didn't have a t-shirt made in America, you were literally ridiculed. I mean, I hate to be like that, but everybody had American furniture, American clothing, an American bicycle, an American car. Everything was made in America. And now we can't even put a tractor together, a car together. The food is being recalled. It's poisonous. Pet food's being recalled. It's just one thing after another. What do you think about all this? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. 4 million people without power in Florida. That hurricane slammed in last night. Was a Cat 4 storm. I guess it's toned down a little bit today. But I just wanted to touch on this for a minute. I mean, we've all been watching the news. We were seeing the damage. It's terrible, but 4 million people without power. There are two types of people, prepared and unprepared. This is another prime example. Hurricanes, tornadoes, natural disasters, man-made disasters, grids going down, currency collapsing, cyber attacks, you name it. It could be anything, man-made or natural. You need to be putting stuff away. And we could all, myself included, we could all be doing a better job of this. But think about 4 million people without power. How many of these people were prepared? How many of these people have 30 days of food? Just 30 days of food, 2 weeks of food supply. Probably not most of these people. They're going to be dependent on the system to come and save them and feed them. And they're going to be waiting an awful long time. And my prayers go out to these people. This is devastating. No, I mean, this is horrible. But we have got to wake up here, and we have got to be independent, and we've got to be ready to take care of ourselves and our families and not rely on the system. The system is not going to save you. You are going to have to save you. And so another reminder today, it's a lot of people without power, 4 million. But if you have the right supplies and you're prepared, you're going to get through this. The people that aren't, they are dependent on the government finding them and feeding them and protecting them too, because there's going to be a ton of looting. Finance Daily, a YouTube channel. I was watching this video earlier today, and I just jotted down some notes here while we're talking about the storm in Florida. And it talked about, look, storms, disasters, economic collapse, social disruptions, you name it, you need to be prepared. And you're going to need at least 2,000 calories a day. And it just noted some things in the video. And this may be a little repetitive. Many of you probably already have this stuff, but if you don't, these are just things to think about. And please, comment down below and add to the list here of some things that you would add to this. But water, be able to purify, be able to filter water, have water on hand, have a supply of water, not just a case of bottled water. If you could put a couple 100 gallons away or more, great. Maybe you have a pond, maybe you have some water source. Make sure that you can purify it, make sure you can filter it. Canned foods, dry foods, beans, meat, fish, vegetables in a can. This stuff lasts for years. Put it away. If you can afford emergency foods, that stuff has a lifespan of about 25 years. Get some of that. Get a combination. You can add this stuff and mix it together. Rice, oats, beans. Buy that stuff, and put it away, and know how to preserve this stuff. Make sure you have a first aid kit, and beyond a first aid kit, I would say a trauma kit, something a little bit more serious, because you're going to be dealing with some very disturbed people, some very hungry people, some very angry people. You could take an injury. You may need to stitch up. You may need some quick claw. You may have to stop the bleeding. So Band-Aids just aren't going to cut it. Make sure you have a tourniquet in that trauma kit also in case of severe bleeding. Something to buy time, ladies and gentlemen, because the hospital may not, the ambulance may not just get to you in an hour. It may take 24 hours. It might take 2 days. So you are on your own. Make sure that you store antibiotics. You can get fish antibiotics and store those. Sanitation. Make sure you have masks, gloves. Make sure you have some firewood, propane, ways, maybe you have a Coleman stove, maybe you have a jet boil. You got to be able to cook this food. You need to warm it up. So you need firewood, you need propane, those little propane canisters for the jet boils and the Colemans. Make sure you have those put away. Of course, ammo, backup power source, generator. A lot of people have gas generators, but how much gas can you store on your property? And gas only lasts for so long. So solar is probably the way to go. A solar generator, definitely probably the way to go. Batteries, make sure you have batteries. Make sure you have soap, toothpaste, bleach. hygiene will be extremely critical. Alcohol, tobacco, many of you have a complete dislike for you, don't blame you, but it will be gold in tough times. This is stuff you can barter with. People may want to smoke, people may want a glass of whiskey. Alcohol is also good for cleaning wounds, but in tough times, what do people want? They want to have a smoke and they want to have some alcohol. You may not support it, you may have disdain for it, that's fine, you don't have to store it, but it is a very good barterable item, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want it and may trade you something that you need. So something to think about, but add some things yourself to this list that you think would be important, something that maybe you've put away that's not on this list that we should all be thinking about. And I know, it may differentiate a little bit depending on where you live and what your situation is, but give us some ideas of some things that you would add to this list. I'd be very, very interested. I know the viewers would be very interested also. There's a lot more, obviously, I would say skills and training, very, very important because at the end of the day, you're going to have to protect yourself and your family. I'm going to leave it there today. Have a very good, wonderful weekend. Make sure it's a safe weekend. Really quick, a friend of mine, Marshall, sent me an article, and I will close with this. An article, this just occurred a few days ago. South Coast Plaza, probably the top 3 wealthiest shopping malls in the entire United States of America. Somebody tried to steal a gentleman's Lamborghini out of the parking lot while he was in an attempted carjacking in the parking lot. This gentleman, the owner of this car, was shot, had to go to the hospital. So here we are again in a very wealthy area where somebody driving a very expensive car now has been targeted and victimized. Be very careful out there this weekend. I mean, whether you drive a Camry or a Lamborghini, whether you live in Newport Beach or you live in East LA, it doesn't matter. You got to have your head on a swivel. You got to be paying attention. Get off the cell phones when you're walking around and pay attention to what is going on. We have no idea what could happen tonight, tomorrow. We know that there's some very, very questionable people walking around in this country from God knows where. God knows what their intentions are, and God knows when things really begin to break loose. But you need to be aware of your surroundings. So have your head on a swivel, have a good weekend, have a safe weekend, and make sure that you get some things on this list. Very, very important. Do it while you can, because when the bad times come, the stores are wiped out and they're not restocking the shelves. You don't want to be out there dealing with people at this point because it's going to be extremely dangerous. So stock up this weekend, add to your skills, have a good weekend. God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe.